The estate sale was winding down. Most of the good stuff was already gone. The furniture, the jewelry, the antiques. What remained were boxes of forgotten things. Old clothes, chipped dishes, and photographs. Hundreds of photographs. Mia loved estate sales. She was 26 years old. A photographer herself. There was something magical about these sales. Entire lives reduced to tables and price tags. She always felt like an archaeologist, digging through the layers of someone's existence. Today's sale was in an old Victorian house. The owner had died 3 months ago. No family, no heirs. Everything had to go. The neighbors said she had lived alone for decades. Kept to herself. Died quietly in her sleep at 94. Mia wandered through the nearly empty rooms. Most people had left. It was late afternoon. The shadows were growing long. She was about to leave when she noticed a box in the corner. Marked simply, "Photos. $1 for the whole box." Mia picked it up, carried it to the checkout. The woman running the sale looked relieved. "Thank goodness someone is taking those. I hate throwing away photographs. But no one wants strangers' memories." Mia paid her $1, took the box home. That evening, she sat on her floor, surrounded by hundreds of old photographs. Black and white, sepia, faded color. Decades of moments frozen in time. People she did not know. Places she had never been. Lives she could only imagine. Most were unremarkable. Family gatherings, vacations, holidays, the ordinary moments that make up a life. But one photograph stopped her. It was a woman, young, maybe 25, beautiful, dark hair, bright smile. She was holding a baby, looking at the camera with such joy, such love. The photograph was old, maybe 1950s, black and white, slightly damaged, but the woman's face was clear, radiant. Mia turned the photograph over. On the back, in faded handwriting, "Margaret and baby Thomas, 1952. Something about the photograph haunted Mia. The woman's expression, the way she held the baby, the love visible in every detail. Who was Margaret? Who was Thomas? What happened to them? Mia could not stop thinking about it. She was a photographer. She understood the power of images. How they preserved moments. How they kept people alive long after they were gone. But this photograph felt different. Special. Like it was meant to be found. The next day, Mia did something impulsive. She decided to find Thomas, the baby in the photograph. If the photo was from 1952, he would be in his early 70s now. If he was still alive, if she could find him. It seemed impossible. She had only a first name, Thomas, a year, 1952, and the address of the estate sale. The house of a woman who had died alone, with no family. But Mia was determined. She started researching. The woman who had died was named Eleanor Patterson. She had lived in that house for 60 years. Never married, no children, but she had kept this photograph of Margaret and Thomas. Why? Mia dug deeper. Public records, old newspapers, ancestry websites. Slowly, a picture emerged. Eleanor Patterson had a sister named Margaret. Margaret Patterson, born 1927, died 1957, at only 30 years old, leaving behind a husband and a 5-year-old son named Thomas. Margaret was Eleanor's sister, and Eleanor had kept her photograph for over 60 years. The only connection to the sister she had lost. But what happened to Thomas? The 5-year-old boy who lost his mother? Mia kept searching, found a Thomas Patterson, born 1952, still alive, living just 40 miles away. 72 years old. Mia stared at her computer screen. She had found him. The baby in the photograph was now a 72-year-old man, living less than an hour away. Should she contact him? Was it her place? She was a stranger, with a photograph of his mother. A mother he had lost at 5 years old. Would it bring him joy? Or pain? Would he want this reminder of what he had lost? Mia looked at the photograph again. At Margaret's radiant face. at the love in her eyes. And she knew she had to try. Some things were too important to leave to chance. Some connections were meant to be made, even across decades, even between strangers. She wrote a letter, careful, respectful, explaining how she had found the photograph, asking if he was the Thomas in the picture, offering to return it if he wanted it. Then she mailed it and waited. 3 days later, Mia's phone rang. An unfamiliar number. She almost did not answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? Is this Mia? The voice was older, male, slightly trembling. Yes, this is Thomas Patterson. You sent me a letter about a photograph. Mia's heart raced. Yes, I found it at an estate sale. Your aunt's house. Eleanor Patterson. Silence on the other end. Then, my Aunt Eleanor died? Yes, 3 months ago. I am sorry. I did not know if you knew. We were not close, Thomas said quietly. She and my father had a falling out. After my mother died, I have not seen her in decades. I did not even know she was still alive. Mia felt terrible. I am so sorry. I did not mean to deliver bad news. I just wanted to return the photograph of your mother, Margaret. Thomas was quiet for a long moment. Then, you have a photograph of my mother? Yes, holding you as a baby. It says Margaret and baby Thomas, 1952. On the back, Thomas's voice cracked. I do not have any photographs of my mother. None. My father got rid of everything after she died. He could not bear to look at reminders. I was 5 when she passed. I barely remember her face. Mia felt tears in her eyes. You have no photographs at all? Nothing. I have tried to remember what she looked like, the color of her eyes, the sound of her voice. But I was so young. The memories faded. All I have is a feeling. The feeling of being loved. But no image, no face to attach to it. Would you like this photograph? Mia asked softly. Thomas started crying. She could hear it through the phone. More than anything in the world, he managed. More than anything, they arranged to meet that weekend at a coffee shop halfway between their homes. Mia would bring the photograph. Thomas would finally see his mother's face again. After 67 years, Mia spent the days preparing. She scanned the photograph, made high-quality copies, researched restoration services. The original was damaged, faded, but it could be fixed, restored to its original beauty. She also found other photographs in the box. Of Eleanor, of what must have been family gatherings. Some had Margaret in them. Not many, but a few. A young Margaret at a picnic. Margaret in a garden. Margaret laughing with Eleanor. Mia organized them all, created a small album, every image of Margaret she could find. She wanted to give Thomas more than just one photograph. She wanted to give him a window into his mother's life, into who she was before she became his mother, before she was taken too soon. Saturday arrived. Mia drove to the coffee shop, nervous, the photograph and album in her bag. She arrived early, took a table by the window, waited. An older man walked in, tall, silver hair, kind face. He looked around, lost, searching. Thomas? He turned, saw her, walked over slowly. You must be Mia. They sat down. Mia's hands were shaking. Thomas looked like he might cry already, just from anticipation. Before I show you, Mia said gently, I want you to know. I found more than one photograph. I made an album of every picture of your mother I could find in the box. There are about a dozen, and I am having the main one professionally restored. But I brought you a high-quality copy today. Thomas nodded, unable to speak. Mia reached into her bag, pulled out the photograph, the one of Margaret holding baby Thomas. She placed it on the table, facing him. Thomas looked down and froze. For a long moment, he did not move, did not breathe, just stared at his mother's face for the first time in 67 years. Then the tears came, streaming down his weathered face. He picked up the photograph with trembling hands, held it close, like he was holding her. This is her, he whispered. This is my mother. I remember now. I remember her eyes, her smile, the way she looked at me. I remember. He broke down completely, sobbing, in the middle of the coffee shop, not caring who saw. Mia reached across the table, took his hand, let him cry. 67 years, Thomas said finally. I have waited 67 years to see your face again. I thought I never would. I thought she was lost forever. And then you found her. A stranger. You found her and brought her back to me. He looked at Mia, gratitude overwhelming. How can I ever thank you? You just did, Mia said softly. Seeing you hold that photograph. That is all the thanks I need. Over the following weeks, Mia and Thomas stayed in touch. The photograph was sent for professional restoration. The fading corrected. The damage repaired. Margaret's face emerged clearer than it had been in decades. When the restored photograph arrived, Mia drove to Thomas' house to deliver it in person. He lived in a small ranch house. Neat, well-maintained. The garden showed signs of care. Someone who valued beauty. Thomas answered the door, smiled when he saw her. Come in, please. His house was modest but warm. Photographs everywhere now. Mia noticed that he had framed the copies she had given him. They were on every surface. His mother, finally present, finally visible. I cannot stop looking at them, Thomas admitted. 67 years without her face. And now she is everywhere. It feels like she finally came home. He told Mia more about his mother. About the fragments he remembered. She used to sing to me. Lullabies. I cannot remember the words. But I remember the feeling. Safe, loved, complete. And then she was gone. And nothing ever felt complete again. Margaret had died of pneumonia. 1957. Before antibiotics were widely available. A simple infection became a death sentence. She was 30 years old. Thomas was 5. His father never recovered. Removed everything that reminded him of Margaret. Moved them to a new city. Started over. Never spoke of her again. I used to ask about her, Thomas said. When I was young, I wanted to know who she was, what she was like, but my father would shut down, get angry. Eventually, I stopped asking. I learned to live without knowing. But there was always a hole. A missing piece. Thomas had married, raised children, had grandchildren, built a life, but the hole never filled. The missing piece stayed missing. Until now, he said, looking at the restored photograph. You filled it. You found the piece I had been missing my whole life. Mia showed him the other photographs she had found. The album she had created. Thomas looked through each one carefully. Learning his mother's face at different ages. Seeing her as a young girl. A teenager. A young woman. Before he existed. Before she was his mother. A whole person. With a whole life. She looks happy, Thomas observed. In all of these, she looks like she knew how to be happy. Maybe that is why your memories are of feeling loved, Mia suggested. Because she was happy, and she shared that with you. Thomas nodded, looking at a photograph of Margaret laughing with Eleanor. His aunt, the woman who had kept these photographs for 60 years. Who had died alone, with boxes of memories. Memories that almost ended up in the trash. I wish I had known my aunt better, Thomas said quietly. I wish I had reconnected. Maybe she could have told me stories. About my mother. About who she really was. Now I will never know. But you know her face now, Mia said. And you know she was loved. Eleanor kept these photographs for 6 decades. That is love. Silent, distant, but love. Thomas started reaching out to others. Distant relatives. Old family friends. Anyone who might have known Margaret. Slowly, stories emerged. Details. Memories. Margaret the artist. Margaret who loved to dance. Margaret who made everyone laugh. Margaret who loved her baby boy more than anything in the world. I am finally meeting her, Thomas told Mia. After all these years. Through other people's memories. Through photographs. Through stories. I am finally meeting my mother. For Thomas, it was like gaining a new family member. A mother he had lost at 5 was becoming real again. Not just a feeling, but a person, with a history, a personality, a life. And it all started with a photograph. A dollar box at an estate sale. A stranger who cared enough to look, to search, to connect. The power of a single image. To preserve, to restore, to heal. 6 months after finding the photograph, Mia received an invitation. Thomas was hosting a family gathering. His children, grandchildren, extended family. And he wanted Mia there. As the guest of honor. "You are the reason this is happening," Thomas said. "You brought my mother back. You brought our family together. We want to celebrate, and we want to thank you." Mia arrived at the gathering nervous. She was a stranger to these people. But the moment she walked in, Thomas' daughter embraced her. "Thank you," she whispered. "You gave my father something he never had. Peace." The house was full. 3 generations of Thomas' family. And on every wall, photographs of Margaret. Framed beautifully. Present finally. Part of the family she had left too soon. Thomas gave a speech. He told everyone about Mia. About the estate sale. About the photograph that almost ended up in the trash. About the stranger who took the time to search. To find. To care. "My mother died when I was 5, Thomas said. "For 67 years, I could not remember her face. Could not picture her. I had only a feeling. The feeling of being loved. But now, because of Mia, I have more. I have her face. Her smile. Her eyes. I have photographs of her as a young girl. As a teenager. As a young mother holding me. I have stories from people who knew her. I have her." He turned to Mia. "You did not have to search for me. You could have thrown that photograph away. Or kept it as a curiosity. But you looked for the baby in the picture. You found a 72-year-old man who had spent his whole life missing his mother. And you gave her back to me. I cannot thank you enough." None of us can. The family gathered around. Took a photograph together. 4 generations. With Margaret's restored portrait held in the center. Finally present. Finally included. Finally home. After the gathering, Mia started a project. She called it Photo Reunions. A website where people could post found photographs. Where families could search for lost images. Where strangers could connect over shared histories. The response was overwhelming. People had boxes of photographs from estate sales. Antique stores. Flea markets. Strangers' memories waiting to be claimed. And families were searching for images of ancestors, of lost loved ones, of moments they never knew existed. Connections started happening. A man in Ohio found a photograph of his grandmother's wedding, an image no one in the family had ever seen. A woman in California discovered a picture of her father as a child, the only surviving image from his youth. A family in Texas received photographs of a relative who had died young, someone they had only known through stories. Each reunion was different, but each one was powerful. The moment of recognition, the tears, the gratitude, the healing. Thomas became a spokesperson for the project, sharing his story, encouraging people to look through old photographs, to search for connections, to bring images home. Every photograph is someone's memory, Thomas would say. Someone's mother, father, child, lover, friend. They deserve to be seen, to be remembered, to be home. Mia continued her work, as a photographer, as a connector, knowing now that images were not just art. They were bridges, between past and present, between strangers and families, between loss and healing. And in her apartment, she kept a copy of Margaret's photograph. The young mother with the radiant smile, holding her baby boy, looking at the camera with pure love. A reminder that a dollar box at an estate sale could hold treasure. That a moment of curiosity could change lives. That the smallest act of caring could heal 67 years of grief. Margaret Patterson had been gone since 1957. But through a photograph, she lived on. In her son's home, in her family's hearts, in the project that bore her legacy forward. Because photographs never really die. They wait, in boxes, in attics, in estate sales, waiting to be found, waiting to go home. waiting to remind us that love, captured in a moment, lasts forever.